Today I want to show you a pumpkin mead. The pumpkin spice latte season is coming up, and I thought I'd do something a little festive. I'm going to go over all the steps I used to make this pumpkin mead using lemon peel, cloves, cinnamon, and ginger. A couple of tablespoons of vanilla, a whole pumpkin pie pumpkin, some water, and honey. Before even getting started, you really want to sanitize all your gear. What I use is Star San, and there are instructions of how much water and how much Star San to actually use, but basically you take a small amount of Star San, you add it to a lot of water, and you soak anything you're going to use before you use it. So this carboy got soaked, my airlock got soaked, the auto siphon of course got soaked, the funnel got soaked. Everything is going to take a little bath in the Star San. So the first thing I have to do is make a pumpkin juice. Kind of looked over a few different recipes and kind of just did my own thing. I'm just using about 1/8 of a teaspoon of each of the 4 spices I mentioned. So I want to keep all my stuff sorted out. So I have my seasonings, I have my vanilla, I have my pumpkin, but in order to turn this into juice, I'm going to have to boil it. So I'm going to boil the pumpkins for about an hour. So after I've chopped them up and cleaned them out, they're ready for the pot. Now the pot will be on a rolling boil for about an hour, maybe 2. What I'm really looking for is the right color. I'm not expecting a brilliant orange, but I definitely want it to darken up the water. The spices and the vanilla are going to help too, but mostly I just want to make sure I've gotten all the nutrients and all the juice and all the flavor I can out of this pumpkin. It's not going to be very sweet on its own, but the honey's going to help with that. Pumpkin juice is still pretty hot, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the temperature down. I'm just going to let it cool. Once it's down to about a little less than 120 degrees, then I'm going to start adding honey. I'm taking my time with this because I'm trying not to make too many bubbles in the must. I'm going to let the honey kind of just pour its way out. I'm not going to over agitate my must. So eventually I'll have all of this honey inside the must, and then I can add it to my carboy. There's a few steps in order to transport it from the pot to the carboy. What I want to do is add the yeast. So once all the honey is added, we're actually still too hot for the yeast. We're going to try and go between 95 and 98 degrees, which is what it recommends on the package. Maybe you can go a little warmer, maybe you can go a little cooler, but I'm going to kind of stick to what the manufacturer suggests on most of these things. So after I've transferred the must into the carboy, I'm going to drop this thermometer inside the carboy. Of course, my thermometer also took a bath in the Star San. Everything that's going to touch the must is going to be taking a bath in the Star San. Everything gets sanitized. As I pour the yeast in, I'm going to try and be careful not to get any yeast on the glass. Now, it could stick to the side, and it's not the end of the world, but you want to make sure as much of that gets in there, just to kind of keep all of the fermentation kind of steady from start to finish. You don't want anything just kind of hanging out and doing nothing. I'm going to go ahead and add an airlock, and in my airlock, I'm going to have more Star San. Putting Star San isn't really necessary. Some people put water inside the airlock, sometimes people put vodka, but what I've heard is Star San is the best because 1, you already have it and it's cheap, and 2, it's going to help keep some of the fruit flies away. The fruit flies kind of smell the fermentation from a good distance away. Then they come in and investigate. They'll get trapped in the airlock and you'll see little floaters in there. Now I don't know if that's actually a problem, but I'd rather they don't get in there. So I'm going to stick with the recommendation, put some star sand in the airlock, hopefully keep any bugs out. It's been pretty successful so far. Soon I'll be able to try this. This has been in the carboy for a couple of weeks now, and in another 1 or 2 weeks I can try it out. Most people would say that's a pretty young mead, but I like to have it young. I don't really like to wait. I could wait a couple of months, but I choose not to. So that's really up to you. And if you have any recommendations that you'd like to add to the comments, I'll check those out, and maybe I'll find a good recipe for Thanksgiving or Christmas. Thanks again for tuning in.
And if you'd like to see our follow-up episode, we'll be trying the mead and seeing how it turned out, and maybe pairing it with a few other treats. If you enjoyed our video today, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let us know in the comments.